So what is it? Well, many know it as Pennywise the Dancing Clown, but that's simply one of the Fear Eater's many forms. It is actually an ancient evil, a cosmic entity that predates the universe itself, and whose true form is more than the human mind can even comprehend. Hey, welcome back to ScreenCrush. I'm Colton Ogburn, and I am going to give you the complete history, explainer, and timeline of the entity of it. We'll discuss how it came into existence, how it arrived on Earth, the history of Derry, Maine, its feeding ground, and how the entity of it connects to the wider Stephen King Macroverse. And we are going to be using the book itself and the in-movie research of Losers Club members Ben and Mike as our key sources. Long before Earth existed, before even the concept of time or space, there was the Macroverse, an endless void that exists between all known realities. In this primordial existence, two cosmic entities emerged, both embodying opposite principles of existence, creating a cosmic dichotomy of good and evil. One was Maturin the Turtle, a benevolent ancient being who created universes by vomiting them from his mouth. The other was it, a being of consumption and destruction, Maturin's polar opposite. Now, Stephen King describes it as originating from the Deadlights, an incomprehensible dimension of pure madness and evil that exists outside of reality itself. These deadlights are its truest form, a swirling, blinding essence of destructive energy. And its second most true form is that of a giant spider, John Peter's favorite.
Did he bring up the spider? I said he did. He brought up the spider. He tell you guys about the spider like every day.
But that spider form isn't literal either. It's simply the closest shape that the human mind can comprehend when forced to perceive something that exists beyond our spectrum of understanding. Now, in the Dark Tower series, which is another work of Stephen King's, Maturin and it are part of what is known as like this greater web of existence that all connects at the center of everything, which is the Dark Tower, the axis of all universes. And that tower serves as the connection between all of King's worlds and stories like Insomnia, The Mist, and Dreamcatcher. Our own Ryan Airy is actually doing a great video detailing the Stephen King multiverse or macroverse and how all of the different books and movies are connected to one another, so stay tuned for that. The Dark Tower mythos establishes that it is one of many great old ones, primordial beings that predate the tower itself and that linger in the void between worlds. Some fans have even theorized that it might be related to the other Stephen King universe villain, the Crimson King, or that it is at least a lesser cousin in that lineage of chaos. Now, King intentionally leaves that somewhat ambiguous, giving it almost this Lovecraftian mystique. Now, at some point early on in existence, it noticed a small, newly formed planet within the universe that Maturin had hurled, Earth. So it fell through the void and it crash landed on this planet, specifically in what would eventually become the town of Derry, Maine. The land around its landing site became tainted, and when life finally did emerge, it grew around its dormant form, unaware of the evils sleeping beneath. So it is a shapeshifter, a being that can assume any form it chooses, forms molded by the fears of its victims based on the entity's ability to enter the human mind and make you see whatever you fear most, meaning that throughout the centuries, it has taken on many different forms before even discovering its favorite form, Pennywise. Now, when man did eventually settle in the region that would become Maine, they unknowingly built their settlements atop of its resting place. These grounds were quickly corrupted by its presence, and over the centuries, the area developed a dark and unsettling energy that would affect all residents of Derry. Violence became cyclical, history repeating itself with disturbing precision. Domestic abuse, missing persons, freak accidents, and unexplainable rages became normalized in Derry. It was as if the town existed under a psychic fog that numbed its people, making them complicit in their own torture. Now, I know this is very controversial, but I have to say it anyway. Doug, what's going on?
Oh, I'm sorry, other guy. I had to sell the TV to make ends meet.
Well, I don't know what that has to do with me, but hey, if you're having trouble with money, maybe stop spending cash on teddy bear costumes.
Sorry, what costume?
Doug, you have to stop spending money like this. And, you know, man, I used to be the same way. I always had trouble sticking to a budget and keeping track of my finances. Like, about a year ago, I realized that I was spending like $5 a month in subscriptions that I had just forgotten about.
Oh, what'd you do? Did you have to change your name and run away?
No, buddy, I used Rocket Money. They're the sponsor of this video. Rocket Money is a personal finance app that lets you manage your subscriptions, lower your bills, make custom budget, and grow your savings all in one place. Rocket Money has helped its members save up to $740 a year when you use all of the app's premium features. They've also helped members save over $800 million in canceled subscriptions. Like right now, I'm really trying to build up my savings, and Rocket Money is the perfect tool to help me do that. They automatically analyze your account to determine the best time to save so I can reach my goal faster. I can choose my savings goal, the frequency, and watch my savings start to grow. Rocket Money even scans your bills to find savings, and they will negotiate your bills for you, from your internet service to cable and phone bills. No more customer service calls. The app negotiators go to work for you, and they try to get you the best possible rate. But most importantly for you, Doug, Rocket Money lets you create a customized budget in seconds. You'll get notified about upcoming charges. Like, get this, one time I signed up for a trial for a service and they would have charged me $2,600 for a year's subscription, but instead, Rocket Money alerted me about the charge before it happened. So to try Rocket Money out today and unlock more features with premium, head to rocketmoney.com/ScreenCrush or click the link in the video description below. It is a great tool to help you save money that you may not even know you're spending. Again, the link is below. Now, back to what I was saying. Some of the first humans to encounter it, long before the town of Derry was even founded, were the Shakapiwa tribe. They were the first humans to sense the corruption beneath the surface, and they were the first to face it. The tribe once performed a sacred ceremony called the Ritual of Chud, an attempt to trap and banish it as it preyed on their people. The ritual involved inhaling vision smoke, and the Shakapiwa elders saw its true nature during this process. They saw the deadlights, and they saw other cosmic beings as well, such as Maturin the turtle. According to Mike's recounting in both the book and the film, the ritual was not just spiritual, it was a psychic warfare. In the Macroverse, belief is power, and its only true vulnerability lies in the strength of collective faith.
It kills monsters. If you believe it does.
It is essentially of a different realm, one beyond the physical, like that of the mind, and that's the only way to defeat it, is by entering the mind the same way that it enters the mind of its prey. But despite their faith and their ability to take on it, the Shakapiwa's attempt failed and it killed them all. The tribe's stories survived only as warnings etched into the relics that would one day be discovered by the tribe's descendants and shared with Losers Club member Mike Hanlon. Now, despite failing to defeat it, their ritual revealed it could be confronted through willpower. While the Shakapiwa lacked the unity and collective conviction to defeat it, their struggle planted the seed that would one day allow others to succeed and kill the entity. Or so we think. I guess we'll have to wait 27 years to find out.
What do you mean?
Well, every 27 years, it would rise from its slumber to feed. The Losers Club from the first film, they defeated it as children, and it then returned 27 years later, and they were forced to come back to Derry and fight it as adults, honoring the blood oath they all took after defeating it the first time.
If it ever comes back, we'll come back too.
Now, in their second battle with it, it would appear that they did finally kill the entity by realizing that it is only as powerful as they believe it to be.
Clan. It is scared beating heart.
But I guess we won't truly know if they killed it for good until like 2042, which would be 27 years after their encounter with it in 2016. And hey, side note, I know that they already did It Chapter 2, but it wasn't my favorite. I much preferred the first one, and I kind of hope that when the kids who played the losers in Chapter 1 are old enough, they do It Chapter 2 again with that same cast. Anyway, through the centuries of Derry's existence, there were many documented horrors that plagued the town. These dates are a little different depending on if you're going by the book or by the movies. But since we're prepping for the show It Welcome to Derry, which is canon to the films, by the way, we're going to go with the movie timeline. So let's break it down. In the early 1700s, there was the official founding of Derry. Strange disappearances and massacres began to occur. Even the earliest settlers reported seeing lights in the woods and hearing laughter echoing through the fog. Farm animals were found mutilated and children vanished without a trace. Local legends spoke of a dancing man or a grinning beast that came with the rain. Now, Mike's research notes that we saw in the film show that Derry's founding families all mysteriously vanished, and the town's history is filled with these massive gaps where records just go missing, as if the town itself unknowingly conceals its existence. A tactic that is believed to be used by it to not only manipulate people into staying and breeding new life in Derry for it to manipulate and consume every 27 years, but also this hides its existence and protects it from the outside world. This is a reoccurring theme in Stephen King's works. Evil creates silence. In Derry, history doesn't just fade, it is actively hidden and erased. The town's collective memory bends itself to protect it, ensuring that no one ever connects the dots long enough to actually stop the cycle.
Memory's the thing. It's the key. It's the key to everything.
And as we've seen, both with the background characters and residents of Derry, as well as with the main cast themselves, there's this, for lack of a better word, blissful ignorance about the evil and dark and heavy aura that inhabits Derry. They all know about it, but they don't seem to do anything about it. The few that do just leave. The thing about it is it doesn't need to hypnotize everyone individually. It simply radiates apathy throughout the entire town of Derry, making them all complicit in the evils that are happening. And guys, I am so excited to show you this exclusive It parody merch that we designed for our merch store. We have this map of the Derry sewer system featuring Pennywise as Pac-Man, or you could get your official Losers Club membership shirt. There's also the It department, the Overlook Maze, and this carpet pattern from The Shining, and if you look close, you'll see that red rum is hidden in the pattern. We also have this Life of a Dancing Clown Taylor Swift parody, this Derry vintage clown costume. Links for all of these are below, and now you can become a store member to earn rewards and get free stuff. Shopping our merch store is a great way to support our channel. Thank you so much for your support. Now, back to what I was saying. So let's break down some specific dates that begin to showcase this 27-year cycle. In 1908, we had the Kitchener Ironworks explosion. This is one of the most notable early mass tragedies in Derry's history, and it is heavily referenced in the films. Ben's research in the 2017 movie includes a photograph and an article about the Ironworks disaster, where a massive Easter celebration for local children ended in an explosion that killed 102 people, 88 of which were children. The implication being that it caused this explosion to create mass death and fear and grief amongst the survivors for it to then feed on. Now, in the film's deleted lore materials, it is hinted that witnesses saw a clown handing out balloons just minutes before the blast, and survivors later reported hearing laughter beneath the rubble. In 1935, there was the Bradley Gang massacre. Crime family known as the Bradleys came to Derry, and according to Mike's records, the entire town turned on them and ambushed and killed them in the streets. However, photographic evidence suggests that Pennywise the Dancing Clown was present during this massacre, influencing all of it. And this event is crucial because it shows how it manipulates entire groups of people, not just individuals, and instead of merely feeding, it infects Derry's people with a hate that then drives fear in others, and we see this personified in the films. This massacre is one of the clearest examples of its psychic influence over Derry. It doesn't always need to manifest physically. Sometimes it's merely a whisper, planting ideas, stoking prejudices, and then watching the chaos unfold. The hate and the fear it creates becomes its meal. Now, in 1962, we had the Black Spot Fire, Black Spot being a nightclub run by black soldiers stationed in Derry during the Cold War. The club became a safe haven for black members of the Derry community. That is until the Main Legion of White Decency, a racist organization in Derry, attacked and burned the Black Spot to the ground. And while definitely, presented and it is a hate crime, the movie implies that it was the one who incited and amplified this hatred and these malice acts so that would happen. The novel expands on this, describing Pennywise appearing in the flames as the building collapsed. It's one of the most haunting glimpses of how it feasts, not just on individual terror, but the the societal rot that Derry is feeling and how it feeds off the natural evils of humanity. Like in It Chapter 2, when it watches these homophobes beat the hell out of this guy and then it eats him. And while we did hear mention of this fire in the It movies, the upcoming series, It Welcome to Derry, takes place in 1962, 27 years before its first battle with the Losers Club, and we are going to be seeing the Black Spot Fire in that show. But that's not all. The plan for Welcome to Derry is for each season to jump back in time another 27 years and show us each of its attacks on the town of Derry season by season. Now, as we see in that first It film, there's the well house, an old decaying structure that sits just above the town sewer system, creating this labyrinth or web of evil that gives it access to all of Derry's children via the pipes. Essentially, it's hell. It's this evil place that resides beneath Derry, and it is the devil. The sewers are symbolic, underground tunnels mirroring the subconscious mind. It dwells in that psychic underbelly, moving unseen just beneath the surface of ordinary life, the same way that it operates in your subconscious. The deeper the losers go, the closer they come not just to its lair, but to the truth that fear itself is Derry's foundation. So now let's talk about why it preys on children, why it plays with its food, and why it commits these mass murders that don't result in him necessarily eating all of the victims. So it feeds on children because it hungers for fear, and an innocent child and their huge open imagination allows for it to more easily slip into their consciousness because it really isn't a physical being as much as it's a parasite of the mind. Children are more susceptible to being this lured-in prey, and their vast imagination makes them easier to scare because they are open to the possibilities of ghosts and goblins and other scary monsters actually existing. And they still have enough wonder and whimsy mixed with being devoid of rational thinking to think that there could be something hiding in the dark, in the closet, or under the bed. But teenagers, like the Losers Club, kids right on the cusp or in the midst of puberty, are its favorite because they still have that childlike wonder and open mind, but they also have the wherewithal to comprehend death and the true danger that they are in, thus amplifying their fear and making them all the more tasty for it. And it will do things like kill your loved ones, maybe even eat them as a snack in order to grow your dread and your fear to make you an even more tasty main course. It finds far more enjoyment in consuming prey that it has tortured long term rather than just snatching up a quick bite to eat like we've seen it do with younger children in chapters 1 and 2. So guys, I am so excited to cover It Welcome to Derry and to expand on its lore and break down all the Easter eggs and Stephen King universe references in this new series. So if you're new here, be sure to subscribe and smash the bell so you get notified every time we upload a new video. For ScreenCrush, I'm Colton Ogburn.